Hey guys, Deliq here. Welcome to the video on philosophy and the parts of philosophy that have an actual value. The problem with there are many problems with philosophy. The biggest one is that all historical philosophers were biased and corrupt because philosophers are people to write, and their main goal is to live comfortable lives. So when there was a time period of deep religion, all philosophers have deep religious thoughts. Who would have known? A typical example is from contemporary times is Slavoj Žižek. He's an extremely intelligent person, right? But he also talks like a complete NPC. He has mainstream views, extremely mainstream views, and doesn't care about truth at all. So basically, he does philosophy because it brings in fame and money, I suppose. So, philosophy is supposed to be about discovering the truth about the world, but since philosophers are people and they are flawed, then it's complicated. And another problem with philosophy is that it's a pseudoscience. You can't apply scientific method to it. So basically, philosophy is a bunch of opinions. Those opinions can be quite influential, though. Like, for example, Karl Marx. He made communism, and it led to complete change in the world, sweeping changes. We have modern Russia and modern China because of those. So philosophy can be highly influential. So, trying to discover the truth is extremely valuable because truth has value due to us being able to use it to improve our current situation. If our lives are based on a lie, like for example religion, we'll be stuck in one place forever. There is no escape. Only truth can set us free. That's why it's valuable. If you believe that you are super attractive but you're actually ugly, you will run into constant failures. But if you understand that you are ugly, you can, I don't know, lose weight, get a plastic surgery, or not go among people or something like that. Just you know what's what and you can work with that since you know the actual truth instead of living in the world of white lies. Right. So philosophy is basically a giant pile of shit with a few golden nuggets hidden in between the pile. Right. So also the problem with philosophy is that the philosophy books are usually indecipherable. The philosophers clearly want to sound smart and they don't care about the readers not comprehending anything they have to say, so that's it. I never read any philosophy book and don't intend to because I expect it to be a word salad. I don't want to spend 10 hours deciphering what the fuck was this idiot trying to tell me. And so there are some. I already told you that there are some gold nuggets in the giant pile of shit, and those gold nuggets are usually products of some actually smart people. One of them is Nietzsche. This guy said that humans need to evolve in something more than we currently are, which I think anybody can agree, because the current human is terrible. It's a selfish being living in a delusion that we are awesome. We are basically each human being is a combination of selfishness and narcissism. That's it. We are selfish and think we are important and necessary for the world. That's basically humanity in a nutshell. And then Nietzsche says that God is dead and we killed him. But it doesn't mean it like we actually killed God or that he's real. I think he means the concept of God and morality coming from God is obsolete and we no longer need it. I think that's a good thing because all religion is a lie and whoever believes it is a delusional idiot. It's an equivalent to believing that Santa brings you presents, in my personal opinion, because there's no proof of any God existing. God can show his ass and I will believe overnight. If I have a good enough proof, bam, I turn into a religious person. Otherwise, fuck off with your delusions. And Nietzsche then says that Christian morality is slave morality, which is true. Basically, turn the other cheek. If somebody wrongs you, you're supposed to tolerate it and not like fight back, which is obviously completely retarded. If somebody attacks you, you need to like break his fucking bones, make sure that he doesn't do it the next time. He views religion as a way to gain power, which is obviously correct, because what do you want when you are a ruler? You want the peasants to believe in some bullshit that will make them docile, right? So that's why all the emperors readily accepted Christianity as something great and incredible and worth changing, because it suited their plans, right? Without the actual emperors, the Christianity probably wouldn't take off, because you need some influential people to support your cause, right? And who better than the ruler of everything? Then Nietzsche had an idea of the will to power, which in his case uh, consisted of self control. Like, self control is power. That's bullshit, of course. Power is the means to control other people and force them to do your bidding. That's power. And Nietzsche then rejects conformity, which is just a good idea, because if you are a conformist, you are a soulless NPC and you don't matter at all. You're just an empty ball that someone powerful comes and pours his ideas into. You then accept them and live your life according to them. You are a tool. So, where we agree in barbarism with Nietzsche? We agree with pretty much everything he says, but he focuses on like self-control that's ridiculous. Who needs self-control? He wants to turn emotions into like creativity and productivity. That's also stupid. We want to turn emotions into actions. That's what we want to do. Not necessarily creative actions, but world-changing actions nevertheless. For that, emotions are actually useful. But like being creative, what does it change? It doesn't change anything. I don't think that any creative work ever changed anything in a meaningful way. Not even books like 1984 or Brave New World. So they are nice concepts. They are intelligent books, nice concepts, but everybody ignores them. So, and we think that Nietzsche came with the concept of Übermensch as a basically strong-willed person. We think that the Übermensch should be a physically superior person. Right. Then there is Heidegger, and he says that people live inauthentic lives and they conform to the majority, which is true. We should strive to be more individualistic because that's the way towards progress, right? If we always conform at all times, everything stagnates and the system keeps rotting and everything keeps getting worse, as it is currently. And then there was Kierkegaard, and he says that individuals should make their own decisions and ignore the crowd, which is, we fully agree with that. People should be individuals, not like work ants in an anthill. That's pathetic. The rest of the philosophers are ridiculous. Most of their ideas are just flat out stupid, like the religious philosophers. Jesus Christ. Like, any idiot can make better thoughts than they do. Most of the philosopher, most of this, I like rushed through the rest of the philosophy and just saw garbage and diarrhea. It's not worth your time. I mean, it's worth checking out, so you know that I'm basically right about them not being worth your time. Always experience everything for yourself, so you can make your own opinion. Don't let others influence you. That's what we are about in barbarism. Because we want to make people into interesting individuals, not some conformists that bend over anybody powerful. Non-barbarians, those will be those conformists. They'll be our slaves. But we want barbarians to be actual people with souls. Right, so there are some like parts of philosophy that are like really interesting. Most of them are, I noticed that, like, for me, the most important parts of philosophy were nihilism and realism. Realism, especially critical realism, which is skeptical towards science, which is like justified because most of science, you can't apply scientific method to most of science. So that means that most of science is pseudoscience and has no value. Most social science are basically opinions that include sociology, psychology. There are some good ideas there, but those good ideas can't be replicated, so they are not really all that valuable. They are all social sciences are basically opinions, just like the philosophy. And the critical realism also says that reality works independently on human thoughts and senses, so our view of reality can be distorted, which is true. Everybody is hypocritical to a certain degree. Some are more, some are less, but everybody is biased, that's for sure. The classical realism, when compared to critical realism, basically worships science and considers it infallible. So that's most people. Most people think that science is great. It will save us. It's all powerful, basically magic almost. Critical nihilism is skeptical about science, and with good reason. Then there is nihilism, which is five types, five most important types. There's existential nihilism, which says that life is meaningless. On a universal scale, humanity is completely unimportant. The second type is moral nihilism, which says that morals are artificial constructs, and then there is no that there is no universal morality. Epistemological nihilism says that we can't really understand anything because we don't know enough about the universe to be able to claim anything with 100% certainty. Political nihilism rejects political and religious institutions, says that they serve to control people, basically, and metaphysical nihilism says that reality doesn't exist. So, existential nihilism is basically right. Since we are all gonna die and disappear forever, none of what we do matters. We might as well kill each other or kill ourselves right now, and technically it wouldn't change anything, or it wouldn't change much. That's true. It doesn't take into consideration that suicide is very difficult, murder is very difficult, and stuff like that. But on a purely logical level, existential nihilism is correct. It doesn't matter if humanity goes extinct overnight because we won't know about it anyway. Once we die, we don't care about anything since we're dead. So who cares? Technically true. Moral nihilism is also correct because morality differs vastly across time and like geological location. If you grew up in a desert, you will be a Muslim. If you grew up in the Western Hemisphere, especially in the United States, you will be a Christian. Basically, morals differ drastically over time. There was different morals 20 years ago. There will be completely different morals in 20 years from now on. Only NPCs, as I call conformists, like worship current morals because they want to conform to the majority. They don't use logic, they just want to not step out of the line and not bring any attention to themselves because they are cowards and they just want to fit in and be left alone. Epistemological nihilism is stupid because, while it's again technically true that we can't with 100% certainty say that we know something, basically anything, For all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter, because when we can reproduce the experiment over and over again and we always get the same result, then for our practical purposes, the results of the experiment are pretty much 100% true, and it doesn't matter to us that we can't say that with a complete 100% certainty and only with 900.9999999% certainty. It's the same thing for us. For our instance, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. Political nihilism is of course correct because everybody is selfish, so there is no reason not to think that our rulers are also selfish. You can see it in Ukraine, where they lure people into army by promising them that they will be drone operators and chefs. Then they send them into trenches to die. So you will get tricked once people above you deem that useful enough. So you can't trust the government at all. It will throw you under the bus the moment it will become convenient. Same with religion. It basically only serves to build the power structure. It can give people genuine false hope, but like I said, only truth matters because you can't work with false hope and white lies. They will keep you stuck in one place. You will be imprisoned in Plato's cave, which is a metaphor for like being stuck in one place and being too afraid to go out and see the real world. Metaphysical nihilism is again completely useless because we see the reality around us, we see the laws of physics and how they are relatively predictable. So who cares if we can say with the 100% certainty that this is not a dream of a god or something, some bullshit like that. We will never know. We don't have to care. We are living here in the reality, and what the reality is doesn't matter to us. It doesn't affect our lives, so who cares? Right. So most of the philosophy is still garbage, but there are some really interesting worldviews hidden there, like especially those from Nietzsche. He was mostly right about a lot of stuff. Anyway, that's enough about this. See you guys next time.